If an individual is willing to be open, honest, right, and to take the time to build the foundation for themselves, they will be able to come to the answers they seek. Change occurs within the heart. And by working with the pathway prayer process, people can connect into the heart of the Akasha and their own heart at the same moment. The Akashic Record is a vibrational archive of every soul and their journey as human. What this means is that it's vibrational, so we can feel it, right, with our emotions, or mostly with our emotion. But here's the thing, because it's vibrational, we do not see it with our eye or even with the strong eye.
It allows people to relax enough to finally tell the truth about what they're feeling and experiencing.
Hello and welcome. I'm Celine Chenoy, and this is the Dreamcatcher Podcast, a space for thoughtful, unhurried conversations about how we live and what truly matters. I am really glad you're here.
Many people feel there may be a deeper meaning behind the patterns and experiences shaping their lives, whether through intuition, repeating lessons, or an inner pull towards something more. There's often a desire to understand ourselves beyond the surface. At the same time, in a world dominated by stress, distraction, and constant external noise, it can be easy to lose touch with that deeper connection and inner wisdom. Today's guest, Linda Howe, explores these ideas through the Akashic Records, a spiritual dimension believed to hold the imprint of the soul's journey across lifetimes. Her work focuses on healing, self-awareness, ancestral patterns, and conscious living. Linda is the author of How to Read the Akashic Records, Healing Through the Akashic Records, Discover Your Soul's Path Through the Akashic Records, and several other books exploring spiritual growth and transformation. She is also the founder of the Center of Akashic Studies, where she has taught thousands of students around the world. In this conversation, we explore the deeper ideas behind the Akashic Records, including karma, ancestral healing, intuition, repeating emotional patterns, and what it means to live with greater consciousness and self-understanding. If you've ever wondered whether there's a deeper wisdom guiding your life beneath the surface of ordinary experiences, this is an episode you'll want to stay with. Hello, Linda. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great. And it's wonderful to be here with you today. Thank you.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you with us. So I've always been intrigued by the Akashic Records. In fact, I got a reading a few years ago, and I found it very, very interesting. And I find the idea that a deeper wellspring of wisdom and insight is available to us beyond ordinary awareness. And you were able to really bring that to the surface in your new book, How to Read the Akashic Records. And I really appreciate how you approach spirituality, because you do it through the lens of real, like, human experiences versus esoteric knowledge or escapism. So I'm really looking forward to learning more about your thoughts and your philosophy on this topic.
Great. Yes. Do you know, it's so interesting because from a records standpoint, the way into the Akashic is through our ordinary experience. Do you know, and so often, especially in the spiritual realm, so many people are very quick to dismiss the ordinary, whereas in the record, and no one was more surprised than I, right? I mean, I was very young, well, compared to where I am now. I think I was young when I came to the record. I was 40, right?
Okay.
And which is okay. Well, it's an age, right?
Okay.
But the thing was, it was so interesting to me
Hmm.
was I had been on this journey for, my goodness, 16 years. I was 24 years old and
Mm.
I woke up. This is so great for me. It was terrible, right? It was painful. But what happened was I woke up at age 24 with everything I thought would make me happy. I had a wonderful job that I hated, right? I had this job that everyone liked but me, right? I had great friends. My friends were terrific, right? I had all the right friends. I had a beautiful apartment. I had a car. I had, right? Do you hear this? It's like, and
Yeah.
I had finished college and oh, I was on top of the world. Here was the problem. I felt so empty and
Oh,
lost inside. And I couldn't, like in my mind, I was raised to believe this is so funny to me because I was raised to believe that if I did everything right, I was going to get a prize. And I woke up, there was no prize, right? The shock, right? I mean, it really was shocking to me. So, so I set about really begging a God. I didn't even know if this God existed, which is even funnier when I think of it now. But I didn't. I was like, okay, if you are even there, God, I really need your help because I couldn't reconcile. How was it that everything could look so terrific and feel so empty, awful, really dreadful? Okay. Well, within a short time, probably 6 weeks, I had what was a life-changing moment, right? And in this moment, this is great. I'm laying on my bed, engulfed in self-pity,
mm.
right? Right? Because I'm wrestling with the question, right? Rawr. Anyway, so what happens is I look out the window. I'm on the third floor. I look out the window and son of a gun, if I don't see this tree that I feel connected to, which really scares me because I'm not a tree person. I
Not
mean,
a
I
tree
was
hugger.
raised during the time everyone was like hugging trees except me,
70, I'm
right?
guessing that was the 70s.
Right, yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the thing was, so in this moment, I mean, and I don't think it was longer than a minute, if
Hmm.
that, if it was even a minute. In this time, I had this experience of being completely washed with awareness. And in this awareness, what I got, I had this sense that life itself really loved me.
Mm.
Okay. Scared the heck out of me because nothing prepared me for it. Do you understand? I was raised, listen, I'm from Chicago, as you can probably tell from my accent,
I
but
can.
really, I'm from Chicago and I'm second of eight, and no one even knew what I was talking about because I would go and talk to people. I would be like, listen, I had this great experience. I had this moment. And in that moment, I felt completely known, loved.
Mm.
But here was the killer for me, was that I had this sense that life liked me. Do you know the difference between love and like is like, big deal, right?
Yeah.
I had this sense though, like I was like, wait a second here. So I decided in that very moment, what I thought was this. This was the most amazing experience I had ever had. And it occurred to me that I wanted to live my life from that place. I thought, whatever this is, I love it. I didn't even know what it was. That's all right. And I didn't. I mean, how would I know? I didn't know. So, anyway, I set out to find to find, I thought, well, this has to be simple, right? I'm not the only one. And it turns out I'm not the only one because many, many people are having moments of this profound spiritual awareness, right? Only I didn't know it at the time. I really didn't. So what happened was I went to every religion, every self-help group, I did every kind of voodoo known to man and beast. Do you know, I did though. I
Yeah.
tried everything.
You
And if
became a
someone had
seeker,
told me,
essentially. Yeah.
here was the thing. If someone had told me at the time, Linda, we're going to give you this moment and it's going to take you 16 years to find this Akashic realm, I would have told them, don't bother me, leave me alone. I didn't, because I wasn't that kind of person. Do you know? I just couldn't like wrap my head around this. Anyway, one step following the next. And finally, I woke up when I was 40 and I was on a panel talking about classic core shamanism, which is truly very funny to me. Wonderful, wonderful practice. I loved it. It was great. And I was talking about it on this panel. And a woman came in and she was, first of all, she was very holy. Do you understand? She was very affected by
Hmm.
her own holiness. I am not that holy. I wasn't then. I'm not today. Not that
How
holy.
do
I
you
wish I
define
were.
holy?
Right. Well, see, that was the thing, is she was very affected and she had this aura that she was 100 times better than the rest of us. Do you
Mm.
understand? She
Yeah, yeah.
was really on that, right? And I thought, well, but here was the thing. I knew in my heart this was not a woman I would ever have coffee with. Okay. Good to know. But there was something about that word Akashic. I had no idea what she was talking about. I went to her class. She taught a class in how to connect with the records, which I did. Okay. I followed the instructions. I learned then, I continue to learn. It's a good idea to cooperate with the forces that be. So
Yeah.
I did. And do you know, I opened the record, and when I did, I had an experience that was as close or it was the closest to the experience I had when I was 24. When I had that sense, I opened the record, I had the sense of being washed. I don't even know how to explain it, right? Being taken over by this awareness of being completely known. Like the universe, life itself was looking at me and completely accepted, like the way I was, flaws and all, everything was good. And that life got a kick out of me. Life likes me. That was the game changer.
Mm.
The
That
thing
sounds
is,
so beautiful.
isn't that's
Yeah.
incredible? But do you know what's so amazing to me is that that moment that I had when I was 24 and when I first opened the record, and do you know, I've been in the record almost every day. I don't want to say every day. I haven't been every day. I've been almost every day since I'm 40 and now I'm going to be 72 in a month, right?
Wow.
That's okay. So I've been in there quite a bit,
Yeah, you have.
right? But here
Yeah.
was the thing. I have never gotten over that experience. You
Mm.
understand?
Yeah.
There was nothing to prepare me for this. I was raised in a very traditional religion that told me, I mean, it was as far as religions go, it was great. But it was fine, right? And this was what we did. And but I had the idea that if I did everything right, I thought my life was a management challenge. And I found out that wasn't true. Blew me away. I don't have any idea what you even asked me or if I even answered, but do you understand
But
this?
yeah, you got into the story of your life and what led you to do the work today, which is precisely what I was going to ask you. You're
No.
way ahead of me. But thank you for sharing your profound journey. I can feel how much gravitas there is to it just as you speak about it. It seems like you got your awakening relatively early, like in your life compared to a lot of people. Almost sounds like
Yes,
a quarter life crisis.
it was. It really was.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and and I have come to understand, through working in the Akashic
Mm,
record, that in this incarnation, my responsibility, and I believe we all have many purposes and like that, but I do. But at that point in time, very few people were aware of the records. Very few people.
Can you,
And
sorry
I
to
was,
interrupt, but can we, like, once you're done, can you please define what the Akashic records are? Like, can you, yeah, yeah, for listeners who
good
are just like,
idea.
yeah,
Good
yeah, yeah,
idea. Do you know
yeah,
what? Let's just go there. Let's
right.
go there. I think you're right. I think that's a great idea. Okay. The Akashic Record is a vibrational archive of every soul and their journey as human. Okay. What this means is that it's vibrational. So we can feel it, right? With our emotions or yeah, mostly with our emotion. But here's the thing, because it's vibrational, we do not see it with our eye or even with the strong eye. Okay. So there is no library, there's no place to go. I don't have to travel to India, thank goodness, right? To consult with the banana leaves. Like none of that, none of that. The record is available everywhere in its entirety, and it's accessible by a shift in our perception, my awareness, your awareness. Through the saying of the prayer, I can make the connection. People often say, okay, great. So it's a vibrational archive. What's an archive? An archive is a collection, right? So every soul that has existed on earth, it's a lot of people, and every soul that will ever be here is included. The good news is no one can throw me out.
Mm-hmm.
The more good news is we cannot, I don't care how upset I am with anyone, I cannot erase a person from the record. Do you see? Because what composes the record is all of us, okay, at the soul level.
Mm.
So that's that. So it's a vibrational archive of every soul. We get that it's every soul and our journey as human. Now, this is so fascinating because many people have talked to me, and I really have wondered myself. I'm like, well, was I really a bunny rabbit, in a past life? Maybe. The record doesn't say I was. The record doesn't say I wasn't. The record has no opinion. It has nothing to say. So, whether or not you were a reindeer or not, the record is not going to talk about it. So, anyone who comes and says, oh, I see in a past life you were this, I don't believe them because I don't believe they're really in my record or anyone's for that matter. But that's a very popular old idea. The other thing that I think is so interesting is that in the Akashic record, it does not refer to our incarnations in other galaxies, right? On other planets. So if I go into the record and I'm like, listen, I really want to know, can you help me? Was this the result of an experience I had in another lifetime on the planet, whatever, Smelfin
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
The record
Or
will
am I at
say,
Starseed? Or I think
right,
that's
oh,
the word.
starseeds.
Yeah.
Starseeds are very popular,
Mm.
very popular. The record has nothing to say about that. But now it doesn't say I wasn't there. It doesn't say, I was there. It says, go somewhere else for that information because the record is the collective consciousness of every soul here on earth, you see.
Mm.
So it's not that's what it is.
And you
Okay.
say it's accessible to everyone, anyone who wants to,
Anyone who
get
wants
into their,
it. Okay.
yeah.
This
And
is,
not just
yes,
the spiritual elite.
Right, right, right. Well, see, and this is a big, well, for me, it's a big deal. Maybe not for you. But here's the thing, is that prior to the 1990s, the mid 90s, so I came into the record, it was 1994. I
Okay.
was teaching by 96. I got the pathway prayer in 2001. I mean, life just like the record came and got me is really the way I think of it, because in 1,000 years, it would never occur to me I was going to be a history teacher. Do you know what I'm saying?
There comes a point in life when you begin asking deeper questions about who you are, where you belong, and what truly gives your life meaning. Maybe things look fine on the outside, yet internally you still feel restless, disconnected, or as though part of you is searching for something more. I know that feeling very well. On my own journey, I often felt like a seeker, trying to find a stronger sense of self and belonging in a fast moving, disconnected world. That experience inspired me to write The Nomadic Soul. The book explores identity, belonging, purpose, and emotional grounding in a reflective and relatable way. It's written for thoughtful people who crave deeper meaning and want to feel more at home within themselves and their lives. Endorsed by eminent voices such as Dr. Martha Beck and Mark Nepo, the book became an Amazon Kindle bestseller and has received many 5-star reviews from readers around the world. To learn more, download a free chapter or order your copy. Visit thenomadicsoulbook.com. Yeah, I do want to ask you about something you wrote about the emotional safety of the record, which I found very interesting. You say that it allows people to relax enough to finally tell the truth about what they're feeling and experiencing. And you really stress on the idea that self-honesty is an essential part of the process. So I'd love for you to speak more about that and the role of self-honesty when it comes to, consulting the records.
Okay, this is great. Thank you. This is a great question. It's really good. So here's the thing. My observation, and I've taught tens of thousands of people around the world, okay? What I have noticed is that people who come to the record with an open mind, an open heart, like they're really open, they're seekers on the path, right? They do very well, okay? People who are willing to be honest about who they are, their feelings, their attitudes. I'm going to take that off. There we go. I, they just seem to go further than people who come in with very clear ideas about what the Akashic record is and what they're going to do with it and how they're going to use it. Okay. What is critical, as far as I can tell, is this experience of emotional safety. Okay. Now, when I first encountered this, I did not know how important this was. How would I know, right? I didn't know. Okay. But in the emotional safety, what happens is that the safer I feel,
Mm,
the safer you feel, the safer anyone feels, has the experience of being safe,
hmm
no matter what I say, no matter what I do. Okay, I am safe. It is good that I am here. It's good that I'm in this place of awareness.
hmm
The safer I feel, the easier it is to be honest. The more honest I am, the further I can go. It's like being lowered into a vat. And until I acclimated to the water, I cannot go deeper. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
that's a
we
good
have a whole
metaphor.
group of, I'm sorry?
That's a good metaphor.
Yeah, because you understand there are people who work in the Akashic record, they're working at the surface. It's like when I go into the record, I think this is so funny. It's like I go in It's like being in the vestibule of a huge department store, right? It's like, oh my goodness. And there's a directory, and it just, there's so many places to go and so much to do. There are people who wander around on the first floor. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's wonderful. However, due to their expectations and their willingness to be honest about who they are and what's true for them, they're not going to go too far. That's where they're going to stay, on the first floor. Everyone else can go. You want to go to the seventh floor? You can. You want to
Hmm.
go over here? You can. The record is available to anyone who wants in. Here's what's interesting. I think this is so funny and painful, sad. I found out not everyone wants to connect with their own soul, right? Because the record is the energetic connective tissue, right? From the soul to the source. So it's like this, right?
Hmm.
The record is not the soul, it is not the source. It's the connection. Okay, it's that connective tissue, which is brilliant when you think of it. So that's how that is. I mean, it's an amazing
Yeah,
resource, spiritual resource for us.
absolutely. And you actually offer a way to access it. It's called a pathway prayer process.
The
Yeah,
pathway
because
prayer
people might be
process.
wondering, like, how do I access the Akashic records? Like, how does it feel, and what does it take to
Okay,
actually get there?
okay. So here's the thing. So in the saying of the prayer, two things happen. One is I open up enough, right, to connect with the Akashic field, which is everywhere, right? So it doesn't matter, like you're in Dubai, I'm in Iowa, doesn't matter. We can both connect with the record, our own record, right? So in the saying of the prayer, what happens is those two come together and there's a click. It
Mhm.
occurs at about the eighth chakra, okay? And then the energy of the record flows into a person.
Mhm.
Now, the pathway prayer process will access the heart of the record. And that's very interesting to me because prior to the pathway prayer, I was able to go into the record, but it was a mental dimension, right? And so I would go into your record and I would get like all these to-do lists and like that. I mean, was it fun? Yes. Did it make me feel good? Yes. But see, working with the pathway prayer is a little bit different because we're looking at what is true for me in the moment. The record always comes back to who am I and what am I doing and what is my part in my life. Okay, so I may be mad as all get out at someone, and that's fine. But somewhere along the line, I made a decision to like give them what for, and it's not working out the way I thought it would, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. So what happens with the prayer? I have this whole school of but I have the student advisor is terrific. And one of the things she taught me is that the record is like our own personal GPS. And it
Nice.
is because it takes us into the heart of the matters.
Mm.
Okay, whatever the situation, if it's work, if it's
Sure.
relationships, health, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I know that the people that I talk to really want to get to the bottom of things
Yeah.
because in many ways, the Akashic record is the last house on the left. So by the time people come to the record, they really are they're tired, they're worn out, they're a little beat up. And what I love about it is that it takes us in. And if people are willing, right, they can see who am I? What is my part in this? It's tremendous.
It is tremendous. And I can see it as being a really vital tool in achieving spiritual groundedness, which you emphasize in the book, and I really appreciate your stance on that. You actually said that the goal isn't to become special, but to grow into greater self-acceptance, self-awareness, and unconditional love. So I'd love to dive into that a little bit, Linda. How do we stay spiritually open without without being disconnected from reality, ego-driven, or an overly dependent form of external guidance?
Okay. There are a few pieces to this. The first is it's a fascinating question you're asking because the one of the first distinctions I came upon was that the distinction between superstition, which I love a good superstition, and spirituality. Okay. Superstition is all rooted in fear. Fear is terrific stuff. It gets me out of bed some days. It gets me going, keeps me on the run, so to speak. Here's the problem. Emotionally and energetically, fear will ultimately take me away from my life.
Mhm.
Okay. Anytime I am looking for, like, if I want to do something psychic, right? If it's I'm going to read the cards or I'm going to get a pendulum or I'm going to do something, right? The psychic work is all rooted in fear, right? Because the only reason I want to know what's going to happen is so I can avoid it,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all based in fear. If I'm not afraid, I'm not going to go to the psychic. However, if what I'm interested is the spiritual, which is the word spiritual, fascinating word, it's based on the word love. So if I am looking for something that is known as spiritual,
Mhm.
what I'm doing is I'm looking for the most loving way to see, to know myself, everyone around me, and the circumstances in which I find myself.
Hmm.
Okay. Very different approach.
Yeah.
The, you see,
Yeah, it is
and
very different.
very, very
The the
different.
whole intention is different.
Is completely different.
Yeah.
And that's what the record is about. And when I discovered this, I had been working in the record, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years, right at that point. I thought, well, this is great. Maybe I'm done or I'm close to done or something. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't though, because people go in the record now and they're like, well, bing, bang, bong, and they get their answers and they're out. It has not been that way for me. It really hasn't. It has been a journey. Obviously, it has been a process of growing into what I've discovered. So here was the thing. This is so funny. So here I am. My father is dying, right?
Hmm.
I am second of eight. I have five sisters. Everybody has an idea, right? Five sisters,
Five
plenty of
sisters.
karma,
Wow.
right? But the thing is, everyone has an idea about what they're going to do and how we should all handle this like that. Okay. And then on the other hand, I have this son who was about five at the time. Now he's in his 30s. But here was the thing. My son is a very creative person. And so every day the challenge was, how do I discipline him? If you know anything about a 5-year-old, they're like swinging from the chandeliers,
Yep.
generally speaking.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. How do
I'm
I
an
do
aunt,
that?
so I know.
Right? But how do I do that without killing his spirit?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So here
that's
I am.
important.
This is really very important to me. And I'm walking through this, and every day I get up, I have goals and I have
Yeah.
intentions, and I'm going to live up to my spiritual, whatever, ideals, right? And
Yeah.
I would get in these situations. By the end of the day, I'm in a heap crying because I have not been who I want to be. I
Yes.
really have not. And what I find in the records is this amazing sense. I thought something is terribly wrong because no matter what, I'm going into the record and I'm getting things like, well, it's okay. Of course. I was like, what is this? Something is wrong. And why isn't someone like taking me by the nape of the neck and giving me what for? The record never did that for a long time, really long time. I would go into the record almost every day. And almost every day, my answers, the guidance I would get would be kind. There was a kindness in there I was not equipped for. I've had to grow into this sense of being so loved and accepted that I never had. I really didn't. And it was a wonderful experience, but I have to laugh when people are like, well, I went into the records today for the first time and I didn't find out X, Y, and Z. I'm like, you didn't find out today. I didn't find out for a long time. So just
Yeah.
relax.
It seems like you developed a relationship with that realm over the years, and over
Yes.
time, you became familiar with the way it speaks to you and how to access the information that you need, at certain moments in your life. So it's something that you have to cultivate over the years.
You know, this is true. This is a great point you raise because What what I discovered is that the record itself is very relational,
Yes,
right?
sounds like
And
it.
so the more I would go into the record, I would learn about the Akasha. And then I would learn about Linda, right? Because I went in, I had so many old ideas when I first started. I mean, one of the ideas was the record is very sacred and it's very, and is it? Yes, it is. The experience is profound. It's life-changing for many, many people. And up until the 1990s, the Akashic field was not available to secular people like us. It wasn't. Okay. Prior to that time, it was for mystics and scholars and sainted ones. All good, valuable, important. In the middle of the I think it was like the 40s and 50s, yeah,
Mhm.
there was a gentleman named Edgar Cayce. Cayce popularized the word Akasha in the West. Very interesting. Cayce was a terrific guy. He did a wonderful job of making the record known, right? What he was not able to do, because what would happen, Edgar would go into the record. This guy was great. He would go into the record. Do we know how? No, no one knows how he got in there. No one knows how he got in there. No one knows how he got out. And as you and I both know, anybody can just go out into the cosmos. Can anybody come back? Well, we hope so. You know, the difference between a spiritual person and a psychotic is you know, is is the ability to return,
Yes,
okay?
exactly.
And that's really it. So anyway, but here was the thing about Edgar. He could not teach anyone else. The other thing was that he was not personally transformed by his work.
Hmm.
He wasn't, right? And so what happened, you know, he would go and he would have his sister, I believe it was, or there was a woman there sitting with him making notes as he talked. I thought, Edgar, you're living the dream, buddy. Anyway, he did a great service for
Hmm.
many of us, right? Okay. And in the book, you know, I talk about the connection to all the mainstream religions, and there was, you know, we can go
What are
on
the
and on.
origins? What are the earliest origins of the Akashic
The
record?
earliest origin, now this is fascinating to me, it's all fascinating, right? But it turns out that the Akashic record was identified in the West, okay? I mean, I'm from Chicago, I'm going to talk about the West primarily. However, the Akasha was identified as The Field by Plato and Socrates.
Wow.
Okay, so
That far
we're
back.
talking, okay, so we're talking a while now.
Yeah.
And then if we look at the Eastern religions, okay, in the Eastern religions, as you know, there are many traditions that are tens of thousands of years
Yeah.
old.
Hmm.
Here's the thing. They refer to the Akasha. Akasha means sky, or that's what it can mean in the East. However, they would refer to the Akasha, but they could not tell anyone how to connect with it. So what would happen is people would go, whether they were in Egypt or in India or China,
China. Hmm.
they would go anywhere. They would sit, they would pray, they would meditate. Tibet, the Tibetans were wonderful at so much of this work. And every now and then someone would connect with the Akashic record. Okay. And they would know it. And they would come back from this state and they would be like, wait a minute. And they would share it. And then, but they were not able to communicate to others how to make that connection until the 90s. Okay. In the United States. And so the first part was that people were able to connect with the mind of the Akasha. Is this good? Yes, it's wonderful. It's great. The problem for me, I would be teaching people how to do this. Oh, they would be crying because the reader would look at like the wall or something and
Yeah.
be reading to them, you need to do this and you need to do that. And the person, so emotionally, there was an emotional disconnect
Hmm.
that was repaired and restored in 2001 with the advent of the pathway prayer process, which is the prayer that I teach, and I have been teaching successfully, since 2001, which is, but you know what else is funny? I just have to tell you, I think this is an amazing feature of the record. I have gone along. I've been like, okay, I'll do this until it dries up. It's never dried up.
It's never dried
Just
up.
when I think because I'm a person, I have thoughts, and my mind is like, well, what are you going to do next? And all this, For a long time, I had a suit hanging in the closet. I thought at some point I'm going to have to go get a job because this Akashic thing, whatever this is, I didn't even know what I was doing,
Yeah.
right? And here I am, you
Yeah.
know,
And
how many books later? And it turns out I'm a specialist because I don't do the records and anything else. I just do the
sure.
records
Yeah.
because it works.
Yeah, it does work. And it seems like it's a tool that a lot of people can use for all kinds of issues. I mean, you've talked about karma, ancestral healing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but uh, what are some ways that people can really benefit from tapping into this knowledge? I mean, just like to make it more tangible, like
Yes.
everyday problems that they have. How can consulting it help them overcome them?
Okay. Here's the thing. As long as an individual has a sincere desire to know themselves, to know who they are internally, a little bit more than yesterday, today more than yesterday, they'll be able to connect with the record.
Okay.
It is very magical. The record is magical. It is not magic, right? Big distinction there. So, what that means is that if an individual is willing to be open, honest, right, and to take the time to build the foundation for themselves, they will be able to come to the answers they seek. Now, what I would like to say about this is that the record will always take us back to what am I doing? What is my part? Because I have to tell you, like my thought is, I'm always looking for someone to blame. I'm like, isn't there anyone to blame? There's no one to blame. It's me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I and that is if an individual is open to exploring who they are in the matter, what they did,
Their
why they
part,
did it,
the part that they're
their
playing.
part.
Yeah.
What is
Because that's
my
the only thing
part?
you can influence, really. You
It's
can't
the only
control
thing
it.
any of us
Yeah.
have any right.
Control on. Yeah.
I know that agency is very popular right now. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, wait a second. So where is my agency? And it
Right.
is in if the more willing I am to look, and that's
Mm.
what the records will help us to, I want to say, like to drill down into,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's that. And the other I think I think that's the pot of gold. If there's a
Mm.
pot of gold in the Akashic record, that's what it
That's
is.
what it is. Okay. Thanks for explaining that, Linda. So I want to end our conversation with this question. So for those who pick up your book and read it or listen to the audiobook,
Hmm.
what do you hope they discover about themselves through the Akashic records and through the deeper journey of conscious living itself?
That's a great question. Your questions are so good.
Thank you.
I just I just really I'm like, oh, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Okay. My hope, right, is that everyone who comes to the Akashic record has a moment in which they experience being seen, known, and loved and enjoyed for who they are. Okay? Because that for many is the life-changing moment that many of us seek. And then from there, we can grow into it. But until that happens, right, there's nothing to grow into,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
There really isn't. I mean, there's a lot of information. Information. Listen, I love information. I say bring it on.
Mm.
However, that is not where, the mind is terrific. I love my mind. You love your mind. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I'm like, you go. However, that's not the place where change occurs. Change occurs within the heart. And by working with the pathway prayer process, people can connect into the heart of the Akasha and their own heart at the same moment, right? It's like simultaneous. And
Mm.
in that moment, what's available is the experience of being known, loved, and appreciated. Do you know, like, what is that?
Oh,
Like
it's
life,
invaluable, really.
it's life changing.
It
It
is
really
life-changing.
is.
That's what people want ultimately, to know that they matter,
To know that they make a difference.
that they make
Because
it.
do you know what? And that is the thing, is that in the Akashic record, there is a unique usefulness for each of us.
Yeah.
And that is revealed slowly but surely, magic but not, or magical but not magic, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. When I realized that, I thought, well, okay, this is fine. So it's a wonderful resource. It's a wonderful spiritual resource, especially. I don't know if you've turned on your television lately. It's a nut house out there.
Oh
It's
yeah. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't even watch Netflix. So
good. Oh, okay. You're really way ahead of the pack.
yeah.
But you are because there's something happening here, right?
Mhm.
And and what the record is calling us to do is to find our own inner light, inner truth without dogma, without an
Mm.
institution,
Yeah.
without anything surrounding us, right? To find that within ourselves and to follow that light because it's stormy out there right now.
Oh, it sure is. Sure is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Crazy airwaves going all around the place.
here we are.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for this conversation. I really appreciate the depth and the warmth that you brought to our conversation today. And I really enjoy the way you make soul growth so relatable and accessible. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And it's the same here. Yes.
And I
Thank you.
want our listeners to know that if you resonated with our discussion today, definitely check out Linda's book and her audiobook, How to Read the Akashic Records. You can purchase it wherever books are sold, and you can also learn more about Linda. There it is. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. You can also learn more about Linda's work, her classes, her courses, and her other books through her website, lindahowe.com. The link will be in the show notes.